Hi, my name is Eva Kent, and I am interviewing Dan Lopez today. And can you tell me what you are doing or what your position is for the Silicon event?
Okay, I'm president and CEO of Siliconventions Limited, and I'm also the owner of Silicon Science Fiction and Media Convention.
Okay. Um, Now, what are the origins of Silicon?
Well, Silicon, from what I understand, has changed hands several times before it got to me, but it's been around for about 15 years. I bought it from the last owners for a song. It wasn't even a good song actually, but I got all the rights to it. They handed over the ownership to me, and about 2 years later, I was finally able to throw the first convention. It took me that long to plan the first one, which was back in 2001, and it was in Sunnyvale at the Hilton Hotel, and it was quite successful. We had a really, really good time, and we were able to raise over $1,000 for juvenile diabetes research.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, why did you make the decision to do a nonprofit?
Well, I wanted to do something for kids with diabetes because back in '96 I was diagnosed, and I started having my problems, and then suddenly someone came up to me and told me about juvenile diabetes and how some kids just develop this without bringing it on. The reason I got diabetes is because I had a lifestyle that was, well, for lack of a better term, I was kind of slovenly. I was very overweight, and I paid no attention to the fact that diabetes ran in my family. And when it hit me, I felt incredibly cheated. But then, having done a little research on it, I come to realize that I brought it upon myself. But kids with juvenile diabetes don't bring it upon themselves. It just shows up, and some of them are born with it. And I can't imagine being 6 years old and not even being able to have a piece of your own birthday cake. I just thought that was ridiculous. So I felt these kids were being robbed. And then I found out about the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation in San Francisco. And I realized I had this opportunity to buy the convention. I could make it nonprofit, and I could contribute money to research. So that's where we started.
Okay.
That's where we started.
Now, what inspired you to start the con or to continue it?
Well, um, I was getting involved with other conventions. I was bringing artists together. I was helping run art shows. I was helping to run the artist colonies, which were pretty big venues at these conventions. Most of the local artists would come down and hawk their wares, and there was always logistics problems like where am I sitting? Am I going to have that table tomorrow? How much do I owe the convention and everything? So I decided I was going to step in and simplify things. I was going to fix it up so that the artists get their space. They pay for their space. They get to keep their space, and at the same time, the convention gets their money. The convention gets publicity because a lot of these artists are popular, and people will come down, attend to the convention, to see the artists. So it made everybody happy all the way around. And then one day there was something of a falling out that happened, and I realized that the only way I was really going to help anybody in this regard was to start my own convention. And then the opportunity to buy Silicon came, and I took it. I took it.
Now, what are your goals for the convention, and what do you plan to accomplish?
Well, the main reason for the convention, um, that we have a lot of reasons for it to do it. There's the fan aspect about it. A lot of kids want to come down and they want to meet people that inspire them, and they want to, it's a big party, of course, but at the same time, the primary reason is for me to help raise money for diabetes research. We've changed our charity now. We're donating money to the Diabetes Society of the Santa Clara Valley, and they kind of cover the whole gambit. They help everyone with diabetes, and we're working closely with them, and we're hoping to provide them with a big chunk of money. But what I want to do is I want to continue to provide funding for research so that someday we can find a cure, and we're getting closer every day. But right now there isn't one. There's a lot of people that are suffering, a lot of people that are going through pain every single day, And I just think it's one of those things that we should target on and try to get rid of in this world, because nobody really asks for diabetes. It just kind of comes up on you and gets you, and it's a horrible malady. The things that can go wrong with you are just they're tenfold, and they're very painful. I mean, blindness. You lose feelings in your fingers. I have neuropathy in my feet. I haven't felt my toes in almost a year. I have tendency to get cramps in my lower extremities. Um, I'm um, I'm not losing my eyesight, but since I was diagnosed, I've gone through 6 different powers of reading glasses. I haven't been able to afford um, proper glasses. But even then, in a year, my eyesight will be different, and blindness is one of the things that diabetes can bring onto you. And I just don't want I just don't want to see anyone else have to go through this. That's all.
Okay. Um, can you tell how does the convention help the art community?
Well, the convention helps the art community by providing artists with a venue to come out and display their wares. That's how I got started in it. I was a fledgling cartoonist, and I came to the Bay Area, and I ran into this one convention, and I saw this long row of artists, and I knew a lot of these guys. I had met them at other conventions, and they said, you should get a table. Come on in, bring in some of your artwork. And I, I would sit down and I would draw it and have some of my stuff out and display. And lo and behold, some people would come by and start buying it. So I started putting more money into the effort, more effort into it, of course, and coming out with better looking things. And pretty soon I realized I was making some pretty good pocket money here. And that was helping me. I'm talking to the other artists, and they're all there for the same thing. They're not only are they making a little extra cash for themselves, but their their notoriety is spreading, and some guys have been approached at conventions in the Bay Area by producers and directors who want them to come in and work for them in some sort of a media fashion, like in a movie, or they're putting together a cartoon, or they're putting together a 3D snippet of something, and they need artists for all kinds of media. You need artists left and right, and a lot of times the art pool just isn't there simply because they don't know where to look. But they can come to the conventions, they can go to the artist colony, and they can see other artists, and they can pretty much pick and choose the style that they want. And not only that, when the artists come down, they get together, they party, they have a good time, they really enjoy it. But during the daytime, they're all business. They're in there hawking their wares and making a name for themselves. We have an art show that is fabulous. The art that comes in there is just not to be believed. Unfortunately, you can't take a camera in there to show it off, but attendees of the convention can come in and they can go up and down the rows of the art show and just see every aspect of artwork in that's related to sci-fi and fantasy. And in some cases, it'll just wow you. It's just incredible to see some of this stuff. And the upside of it is you can see the art, you can be impressed by it, then you can walk out to the artist colony and meet the artist himself. And it's great.
You could even buy it, right?
Yes, you can buy it. You can either buy it from him or you can put in a bid. I have seen pieces of art in the art show start out with a starting bid of $10, a closing bid of $25. It goes to auction, and the buyer walks away $300 richer. But he's got art and he's traded cash for it. So the artist makes money, the convention makes money, the patron gets his art. It's great. It's great. I love it.